What we were looking at was, now that we're, and Australia in particular, we're getting out of these restriction phase, are we checking what our adaptations, I'm not going to say the word, are we checking what's working and what isn't? So for example, for me, I did a lot on education. And education was where I was able to adapt and move my business into a bit more. And now it's that time where I need to say, okay, how can I continue my education in this post-COVID era? Yeah. And this is something that a lot of businesses, some adaptations are going to be like boons for company, because a company will say, this was the best thing that we could have happened because it shook us up. Yeah. And then there's going to be others that they pivoted and, oh damn. Damn. So some businesses would have adapted, and then what would have happened is now they're going, this is not viable to continue because it's not profitable enough or not economic enough. So, excuse me. So I think now is a really good time to be assessing those changes that we made and seeing, do we capitalize, do we expand, do we contract, do we remove? Does anyone have an opinion?
Yeah, I mean, we were like you, Chris. We adopted two plans when we came into COVID. One was to address immediate need for branding and design, and that was a lot of what we were doing was centered around supporting our clients through Zoom. So how do we make people look professional in Zoom, rather than some of the, I'm sitting in my bedroom at home wearing my dressing gown. Yeah. So we were giving them
having a lot
of support, and it was as much about keeping connection with the clients and giving them some simple tools that they could aid in their Zoom experience. The other side, though, is that we were working closely with you, Ariel, in doing more animation work, which we knew would have a longer term benefit for both our business, but also we knew that coming out of this, there'd be a lot stronger emphasis on digital, and doing the animation side would work quite well.
I want to pass to you, Ariel. As you mentioned that you're doing podcasts a bit. That's a really good adaptation. And that's the point.
Yeah, so look, we are coming out of it. We are coming out of COVID, and we're all very excited about it. But things have changed. Yeah. And I think a lot of businesses have learned through this time that maybe not everyone has to come into the office. Maybe we don't have to go out to shops for everything we purchase, because people adapted so well. A lot of things did move online, and I think we need to keep that up. And one of the ways to do that is through podcasting. It's such a beautiful way as a business to be able to, because when you listen to a podcast, let's be honest, we all kind of feel like you're in the room, you're kind of mates with the people having the podcast, and you kind of feel like you're engaging, you're having a group atmosphere. And it's such an amazing thing for a business to do, to really grow that brand awareness, that trust, the relatability, the just humanizing the brand in general, and creating that connectivity with your customer. So that is a definite amazing way.
That's how your business did it.
Yeah, we pivoted. Goodness.
It's like a taboo word. It's all right, just go with it.
We did podcasts and animation, and that was a big part of our business, but live production was a huge part of our business. And so when COVID happened, because of regulations, we had to cancel all live production. But that doesn't mean products weren't still getting launched, and all these things that we had planned just go away. We had to figure out, how do we still represent that and reach their clients? And that's how we ended up mainly switching to animation. And really, that's made a lot of clients realize that animation, the sky's the limit, and you can create animation the moment you want to, right? There's not as much regulation, and sometimes as much cost around it dependent. So these are the type of changes I think are going to go well into the new norm that we have, along with live production, just seeing these other avenues that we can go about while still connecting with our customers.
Does anyone have any?
The biggest thing we saw was around content and giving away, and something that we've been doing ourselves is creating phenomenal amounts of content and just giving away constant amounts that, stuff that we've developed and learned over the years and sort of formulated, we just giving away. And saying, whether it's just so that, great if clients want to, or people want to see that and go, great, this is who we want to work with. But at the same time, it's also great for those that it just helps businesses to get through COVID. And now hopefully they'll be able to use some of that content and the stuff that we've posted. And I think if you look at a lot of the brands and businesses that have been quite successful through COVID, or at least positioning themselves to be very successful post-COVID, have been those that have been creating all of this great content and just having it available to kind of music to your ears. And, you know, you guys are incredibly busy through COVID.
I'm like,
haven't you, you know?
but here's the question for this slide: is that still viable for you, for Oddball going forward?
I think it's something that we've always had it on the, we should do that. You know, but we've just been so busy with client work always happening that it was like, we'll get to it. Yeah, we should put this stuff out there. Whereas this has really changed it. We've got ourselves formulated around doing it for ourselves. And now, as we kind of come out of COVID, it's like, you know what, we'll keep doing it because it's a great way to kind of pay it forward, give out all this information. If businesses use it, that's fantastic. It's what works for us. So hopefully it works for them. And if they then go, you know, hey, we like and we trust what you guys are presenting, what you're talking about. You sound like, you know what you're doing. You're getting good results. Great. We'd love to work with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And there's one question I liked there that said, what platform would you recommend with the adaptations? And I think that's a really good question. I know we're getting onto that. So that what emerging channels are gaining a lot of traction? For me, definitely Google My Business. That's something that, so it went on hiatus a little bit. It went on a bit of a pause during COVID. Google shut it down, or like it paused that. But now, especially the geographical component of it and posting it, and people don't realize that it's actually quite a social platform. And so I post on that every day and get thousands of views for nothing. And so it's something that is now back into full swing. Google is behind it and endorsing it. So the answer to that question for me would be Google My Business is definitely, every business should be there and actively posting on it. Does anyone have anything to contribute?
I think, absolutely. Google My Business is definitely the one that's coming through. But I also think it's, we're a branding agency, so we talk a lot about what's right for your brand. So making sure that if you're a highly visual brand, flicking to a platform like Twitter is not going to help your brand. Okay. So the conversation stays on the visual platforms. Versus one where you might be more transactional and more conversation led. You might then stick to Twitter. But for us, it's about definitely choose the platforms, but be brand led.
Oh, it's interesting you mentioned Google My Business because that's one of our SEO strategies. One of the modules that we go through in an SEO plan is Google My Business and posting because we see significant impact.
Oh, huge.
That's from a low-hanging fruit opportunity for a lot of businesses. Just getting on there and actually posting through their Google My Business is fantastic.
And Mike, are you putting unique content back to Google My Business, or is that?
No, not generally. We look at what we're already doing and just posting it through Google My Business. So it just gets out there. And we've seen whenever we do that for businesses, their Google My Business listing gets a large spike in traffic, which, that's awareness for that business. So often when they might otherwise struggle to get reasonably good rankings in Google, the Google My Business listing is one of those shortcuts. So we see that. And I guess with that, we see also at the moment, the Google ads and looking at doing Google ads, volumes are lower than what they were previously. But in terms of results at the moment, Chris, you're seeing it.
Seeing him everywhere.
Of course. Kristen redid my brands and then Oddball did my Google AdWords, and I just can't keep up with the leads coming in. So,
it's amazing.
So it is something that people, it showed me that people are really active still. Like I was even during the thick of COVID, there were leads coming in of businesses going, we're doing a whole launch. And I'm like, oh, no one got the memo that this is like shutting. So it really is poignant to make sure that you're getting out and you're embracing all these channels.
The whole importance of keeping marketing as the key right now is everyone's eating up content.
100%.
People can't get enough content. There's been such an increase in content. Now, a lot of that, is escapism. But people are going to their favorite brands to find content as well. So if you can take that creative approach, that storytelling approach, even doing some sponsored videos, if you want to do a cooking video with your product and have it somehow relate in, or if you want to do more of a docu-series of how you've helped the community, people are eating up content right now. So if you can create content, if you can start working on that, it will be viewed more than it ever has before. Because they're hungry for it.
And I think you got your timing exceedingly. It was just perfect timing.
I started in December.
But
No,
you
it
really
was
did.
really good.
You really hit the ground with, okay, I'm going to take this time to really look at my brand. And we started off, we were talking about, oh, maybe we'll just refresh some of the colour palette and we'll do some slight changes. And we ended up with a, it turned out we ended up with a full brand refresh. And then you're able to hit the market just as we're emerging out of COVID. And then Mike's reading, we've just got this sea of orange on our computer.
Yeah, careful when you go to my website.
Yeah.
You're getting inspected.
Go to